I don't know how much you've gotten to talk to him or see him since you guys got here, but how is Jose this morning after banging his knee last night?
You know what? I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but no news is usually good news where I'm sitting. So I think we're all happy that it's a day off. I mean, it's probably a good time for us, but I'm not expecting any problems.
Right.
What's been your assessment of Correa, the at-bats through 2 games, and even when he's not contributing like you want him to? What are the other ways that he's impacting that you want him still in there trying to work through his offense while he's helping you in other ways?
You know that play he made late in the game where he's back on his heels on the line and throws a bullet across the field to get the leadoff batter out? That's just as important as any at-bat. I mean, I know we put so much pressure on this guy, and there's so much attention on what he's doing or not doing. He's a winning player and can help us win. So I think his swing has been good. And, his results haven't been there, but there's no chance that I'm going to lose faith in that an at-bat where he comes up that he can't do something positive. He can do something every single day, and then the defense has been excellent. His presence matters on our team. I hope the ball's hit to him every single time. He can do things that doesn't end up in a box score, whether it's throw from his heels and a bullet if we ever need a relay throw. The shortstop matters in our defensive alignment. So we'd like to see him swing the bat a little bit better. We'd like to see him get hot. Right now he can be a complementary player in terms of the way some of the other guys are doing, and his time will come. But I'm pretty pumped he's in the lineup.
AJ, at one point in the year, Keuchel set 3-8 with an ERA that probably wasn't to his liking. What have you seen from him that he was able to turn it around? Strami said he incorporated some four-seamers a little bit more, threw the changeup a little bit more. What have you seen from him just in total to turn his season around?
Yeah, he got back to being himself. He's really good at knowing who he is, what he does best, attacking a game plan, improvising as the game goes along. He gets the ball on the ground. He gets soft contact. He got ultra focused on just getting back to his strengths and being himself. And there's a little bit more four seam in there. There's a little bit more changeup. He got away from too many predictable, cutters and sliders. But he'll do whatever he needs to do to get his outs. And I think, as much as he wanted to fix it at whatever that was 3-8, whatever it was. It took him a long time to correct that, but he did all the work. He did all the study. He takes meticulous care of his body. He prepared himself on a start-by-start basis rather than try to carry a bunch of baggage from the first part of the season into the rest of the season. So I'm glad we're giving him the ball tomorrow night. I think he's he matches up pretty well. He's always pitched well in this ballpark, and he's Dallas Keuchel, and that comes with a lot of weapons.
AJ, you won 57 games on the road. Playing on the road not much of an issue. Why is this team so comfortable playing on the road, you think?
Because we're good. I mean, not to be cocky about it, but we're a good team, and we play well at home too. I think we had a couple road trips where we were pretty hot. I mean, we had an undefeated road trip. We bunched the wins together quite a bit. I think when we played certain teams in certain times, I think it's just part of how baseball is, but I don't care. We don't care where we play. We'll pick a building anywhere in the country. I'll bring this team and feel good about it. Wearing the gray pants is good. We like hitting first. I don't have an answer as to why, but I'll take this team anywhere.
Mark and
AJ, over in their locker, they're saying that you guys have played perfect baseball. They have not, and they believe that the only way they can get back in this thing, they got to be perfect too. When you hear that, how does that hit you?
It doesn't really hit me. I think we've played well. I don't know about perfect. I'm a manager, so I never see things perfect, But I think our guys have played well. We've and again, what comes first, whether it's us or them, or how we put pressure on them. We've played with the lead. I guess one of the 2 games, we've been explosive. We've pitched extremely well. Everybody that we've called upon in the bullpen have done their job. So I don't know that that's perfect. I just know that's good. And we've played enough to win. We played well enough to win the games. What they have to do to combat that is, again, it's out of our control. It's nothing that I'm going to really think about. I'm going to roll the lineup out there. We got another good starting pitcher that's different from the two that they faced in the first two games, and we're going to try to win a game.
Kyle, Mark.
Thanks. AJ, you talked yesterday about Lance's ability to adjust to the bullpen in a way that not
Lance?
everyone can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the biggest challenges of that, just generally, and why do you think he can do it?
Well, generally, the biggest change for a pitcher is just changes his routine. It's not easy for guys. Don't get to have a normal warm up. They don't get to play long toss. They don't get the whole day to be about them and their preparation, the work with the trainers, the strength coaches. Everything from their preparation standpoint changes. Not everybody can adjust their program and be good, and especially at a moment's notice. You know, you can try to map out how the game's going to play out, and I can tell Lance, hey, you might get the 6th, or you might get the 7th, you might get the 8th. But it happens fast, and I think someone's ability to get up and get into their routine faster is usually adjusts a little bit better. So he's been able to do that for whatever reason. We've seen it a couple seasons in a row. You know, maybe it's taught him a little bit of what he needs to get himself ready. I think he's incorporating. Both he and McHugh have told me, moving to the bullpen at different times, they've learned a little bit of how to get ready for a game. And Lance, you know, has a routine he believes in. He has a system to get himself ready, and he's answered the call. You know, it seems like his stuff is there, regardless of whether I give him 5 minutes notice or 5 days notice. He's ready to pitch.
Jake.
AJ, you alluded to Clevenger as being different from their first two starters. What challenges does he present you guys?
Yeah, well, I was talking about Dallas. I was talking about when I was saying
sorry.
he's different, but you're right about that too. He's a little bit different. You know, both Kluber and Carrasco, you know, really rely heavily on some secondary pitches, and Clevenger does too with the big breaking ball. But he's also got that high four-seam fastball that he uses a little more up in the zone than the first two guys that we faced. And you know, I know every game has a sense of urgency. I know tomorrow will have even more sense of urgency for him. So how he mixes his pitches, we faced him twice this year. You know, had a little bit of success against them, more so I guess in the second game I think than the first game. But he has a different style, and you know he handles left-handed hitters a little differently than right-handed hitters, and you know he pitches with a ton of energy and a ton of emotion as opposed to maybe a little more stoic first couple starters for them. But I expect him to be at his best. I think he's a tough matchup. As a reason he's sort of under the radar because they've got a couple of big boys at the front end, but he's equally as challenging.
Chandler.
Given that you've really only relied on Osuna and Presley for a large amount in the first teams, are you set up about as well bullpen-wise as you think you could have been going into this off day?
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll have everybody available tomorrow. I'll need to check with both Press and Osuna by tomorrow. But, again, it's October. It's the playoffs. It's all hands on deck from virtually every game. You know, I'd like to get some other guys some action, but that means we need to have some different circumstance, or Dallas can throw the whole game. I mean, I don't think I can go in set up with any preconceived notions. We're trying to get 27 outs. How we use them, who we use, the matchups we use, the game will dictate more so than me pre-planning it. But we've not used some pretty good relievers. We've got some options in some areas that now we have some new looks, or maybe we go back to Press and Osuna and close out a win. That's fine too.
What do you think about being in the situation where you're starting in an elimination game where you can be celebrating at the end of the game if everything goes well?
I think it's very cool, but we got a lot of work to do still, especially with this talented group over here with the Indians, and you know, we're just taking it day by day pretty much, and we've been fortunate to get a couple big hits, two really good pitching performances from our guys, and I'm just going to try to continue to do what our starters and our bullpen have done the first two games, and just come out and attack the zone and put them on the defensive side.
Allison.
Thank you. Dallas, you've been here for the whole run through the Astros rebuilding and then getting to where they've been in the last couple of years, and just heading into free agency. Just how are you kind of looking at this start? Does it mean anything to you to be able to maybe pitch them to the next level? And is this more meaningful to you heading into free agency?
This season has been more meaningful, I think, just because it could potentially be my last, and I've never taken for granted anything to this point with the Astros or my own career, and you start to cherish the little things when potentially it could be you could be in a different spot next year. But this team has made it easier to come to the ballpark every day and just enjoy it. So I have enjoyed it, and whether or not this is my last run with the Astros, like I said, it's easy to come to the ballpark with this group, and I've cherished it enough that I know how to go about my business and do things the right way.
Chandler?
Dallas, kind of piggybacking off of that, how difficult is it to maybe compartmentalize, what lies ahead with, keeping your day-to-day sort of routine intact?
I mean, as a human being, you kind of think about it a little bit, but when you break it down, I mean, we got 25 guys in there who are going to battle every day and trying to win another championship. So when you really think about it, it's just showing up to the park and enjoying yourself and making sure that you're doing everything you can to help those other guys out. I've been on the other side where we're packing up our stuff on September 31st and watching the other 8 teams go at it, and I'm just trying to enjoy myself as much as possible because I know how short this ride can be, but how long it also could be as well.
Right.
We all know Correa struggled last week and so far the first 2 games. But what kind of impact as a pitcher does seeing him back there and what he can do defensively and the ways that he can impact the game, you think that makes him important to to have him out there for you?
Well, you almost take for granted how strong of an arm he's got, and the last couple of years with how many talented shortstops there's been, you take that for granted, and since he's been back, his bat hasn't been there, but other guys have picked up where he kind of left off, but defensive side, he's as good as anybody. I think Lindor gets a lot of attention just because of the flash and him being out there more, and rightfully so. He's a wizard in the field, but Correa's right there with him, and I've enjoyed him behind me when I've pitched, just because I get so many ground balls, and a lot of them are trajected towards shortstop and third base. So I've really enjoyed watching him grow. I can honestly say he's one of the hardest workers, especially since he's missed some time the last couple of years. He really has worked hard on getting himself prepared every day, mentally and physically, to get out there. So I know when he's hurt, he's really hurt, but just having him back there means a lot to our team, and then potentially a lot of danger to the other team.
Mark, then Chandler.
Dallas, when they have said after Game 2 and in the locker room a little while ago that the Astros have played perfect baseball, and if they're going to get back in this, they have to be perfect. They haven't been. When you hear that, what do you think about that?
That the Indians haven't been perfect, or we haven't been perfect?
No, you have been perfect. They feel like they're going to have to match you. In other words, I'm not going to use the word desperate, but they feel like they got to play a hell of a lot better to get where you guys are. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think we've played perfect ball. I think we've just played a little bit better than they have with the timely hits. I mean, you really break it down, their pitching's been pretty good, and that's kind of their DNA. But we have a pretty good staff in our own, so we knew coming into this series it was going to be maybe one or two swings that were going to change the game, and then who was going to outpitch the other team. And so far we've had the advantage, but not by a wide margin. And it's just if we can take advantage of a mistake here or there on Monday, or I can make a pitch or two on Monday, and I guess tomorrow I should say, and I think the better team is going to come out tomorrow. But they play well at home. They really do, and I know this place is going to be packed and rocking. But on the flip side, we also, I think, we had the best record on the road in the big leagues this year. Is that correct? I think, yeah. So we feel very comfortable on the road, but it was nice to get 2 wins at home and then be able to come out here and try to finish the deal off in Cleveland.
Chandler.
Dallas, when you were 3-8, I think you told us that what 3-8 feels like, and how you were feeling was not what 3-8 was. What did you alter pitch selection wise, or just kind of how you went about your business, start getting the results maybe that you wanted to get after that point?
Man, that's a good question. I continued to come to the park and work, and there's, as a starting pitcher, you have to have a ton of luck involved with the win and loss record. You can do your part and still get a lot of no decisions or a lot of losses if you're matched up with other guys. I think a lot of my problem was I looked into the matchups too much early in the year. I faced Severino a few times. I faced Kluber, and that's not what I usually do at all. I'm not pitching against those guys. I'm pitching against their lineups, and I focused too much on the days ahead instead of the day that I needed to be present at, and I really kind of bared down and continued to just take it day by day, and in between starts really work on what I wanted to do the next time out, and was able to make a few more quality pitches there for a 5, 10, 15 start stretch, and I'm nowhere where I want to be, but tomorrow hopefully come out and do what I'm capable of doing, and maybe leading this team to a victory.
Dallas, AJ, he said your success on the road is partly just baseball, the way the schedule played out. But what do you think you guys get more comfortable on the road this season?
I don't know. I think we're just we're a carefree group, and when we're on the road, you really got to rally around each other, just because of the tough environments we play in. The AL West was no joke this year, especially with the A's playing so well. And like I said, there is a lot of tough environments that we've been through. So the rally around each other, the brotherhood it has to be there, and it's really genuine with us. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But we got a good group of talented individuals who rise up on the road, just because we're not supposed to play as well on the road as we do at home. And I know statistically we played better on the road than we did at home, but the luxury to play at home first and get a couple victories against a really, really quality team in the Indians, I think is going to let us play more comfortable ball still tomorrow as well.
On the far aisle.
Dallas, what impresses you most about Lance's ability to go from starting then to the bullpen and seemingly maintain how effective he is?
Well, I think that curveball plays in any environment. So, his ability to spin that breaking ball, whether he's starting or relieving, I think he can just wake up and spin it. So, if I had that breaking ball, I would be a lot more confident waking up in the morning too. But he's just that guy. He's still he just turned 25, but he's still really young. And just his makeup, coming from a big league family, his dad pitching in the big leagues, I think he knows what it takes to really mentally get ready. And he's got a lot of confidence, and rightfully so. His stuff is electric. And he's been groomed by me, so he's a lot better off now than he was before. But now, he's just a talented individual, and he knows how to pitch in certain situations, and if you can spin a breaking ball behind the count, and landed for strikes, that just puts more doubt in the hitters' minds at any point in time.
Take one last one.
Dallas, what have been your overall impressions of Martin Maldonado in your couple months as teammates, and just what overall has he brought to the pitching staff?
Well, he's a guy who I played against in the minor leagues for a year and a half or so, and I was always enamored by his defensive ability. I mean, nobody ran on him. You can see why. He's got one of the strongest arms in the league, if not the strongest, and he really puts a clamp down on the running game. But his pitch calling, his framing ability, the way he handles pitchers. I mean, right when he first came in, after we got him, he went right to the starting staff and the bullpen guys and acted like he had been there for a couple years. I know he had watched a lot of video already. So that just makes you feel more comfortable as a pitcher. But just the dynamic he brings. Everybody knows scouting report coming in, hey, Maldonado's thrown out almost half or maybe more than half of the runners attempting to steal. So kind of just puts the clamp down on anybody trying to run. And I know they got a couple guys over there that can run. And he just cares. But what a talented guy behind the plate. And I mean, first postseason game, he hits his first postseason home run, which is really cool as well. I think that calmed him down and made him a lot more comfortable on our talented team.
Correa's been struggling at the plate, but obviously he still contributes to this team in a lot of different ways. Can you kind of explain as someone who's out there, even though you're in the infield, what his presence is, just being on the field and obviously, being very good at what he does at shortstop?
Yeah, he's huge. He's a essential part of this team. It doesn't matter if he's hitting the ball well or not. He's always due. He's not the guy that I think has been happening to him, but to have him out there means a lot to us because he's our shortstop. He's our guy. He's been a mainstay in our lineup for 3-4 years. So I know this is a pretty result-oriented time of the year, but to have him in there it means a lot to us, and it's probably not easy to game plan around him as a opposing staff either.
George, what's the feeling of the team being up 2-0 and you can eliminate them tomorrow?
It's always a good feeling, to defend our home field against a very, very, very good Cleveland team. That's a great offensive lineup, a great staff, and for us to go in and score some runs and hold them to just a few, what was obviously big, and obviously for us it's just go play the game and kind of enjoy the day. We understand the position that we're in, so to just go play and whatever happens, happens.
Alex said yesterday, or after game 2, you got to keep your foot on the gas. Obviously, you never take your foot off anyway, but is that something you have to remind yourself? How do you look at that?
Yeah, I mean, with the lineup that they have over there, the staff that they have, a lot can happen, and a lot can happen quick. So, for us, it's about playing our game, staying within ourselves, and just kind of controlling the things that our team knows how to control. I think we saw it before when New York was down 2 and they came back on us there and won all 3 in New York and all that stuff. So it's never over till it is. But for us, it's go up and play our game and just stay in our dugout.
George, after seeing Clevenger twice in the regular season, what makes him different than what you saw from Kluber and Carrasco in the first 2 games?
He moves the ball around well. He attacks you with his fastball. Has a little bit of a slower slider that I can throw you off balance some. But he comes at you. He's obviously had a heck of a year. It doesn't matter if we've seen him once, twice, 20 times. He's always hard to face. So it's I expect a good battle.
Brian.
As a guy who's close to Jake Marisnick, what's psyche now that he's on the field and playing as compared to last year when he had to just kind of be a spectator for the whole playoffs?
Jake is full throttle from the time he gets here till the time the game is over. I think for any position player or guy that's a very, very intricate part of this team, who was hurt last year, and now he's active and he can play. He wants to contribute, so he is. Jacked up to say the least is kind of the best way to describe it. He's the outfield closer. You bring him in and you pretty much just say, hey man, I got the line. Go get everything else, because he's ready to go. He wants to catch everything. He wants the big hit. So, and I'm glad he's able to play this year, and because he's an elite defender. He can fly and he can hit the ball out of the ballpark.